All right, boots on the ground. How we looking?
Mm,
I called you boots on the
we on. I don't know why the hell you said that. You freaking idiot.
ground. It's stuck in my head, man.
It's your
It's
fault. This is your
stuck in-
fault.
Why is that my fault? It's a catchy song. I'm a. Oh man, if people bet enough, will Q learn the dance and do it at the tailgate in Atlanta?
No, it's not gonna
Oh
happen.
come on!
I will not
All
be
right,
doing that song. No.
give 5 second count. And here we go. In five, four, three, two, and one. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome Home Podcast. I'm your host, Famous Garnet, and I'm joined by my co-host Q.
FG is stupid. G is freaking stupid. Freaking hate him. Dude, all he's been doing is singing his stupid boots on the ground. Like, I like the song, don't get me wrong. But this man has been sitting here singing freaking boots on the ground like it's no freaking tomorrow. Don't nobody want to hear that crap all the
It's a
time?
classic hit, man. It's great. Everywhere you look on TikTok, you hear it, you see it, you love it, man. You gotta love it. Hey, man.
No one wants to hear that at this present moment. This is not.
People right now listening to that song right now, I guarantee it.
No one's listening to that right now.
How do you know? Are you at their house?
Bro, nobody's listening to it.
Yeah, I tell you, and they may not be listening to it, but I tell you what, the board of trustees, they didn't want to listen to us. I tell you what, buddy. Oh my
No,
goodness,
no
they didn't
one
want to listen to
because
anybody.
they're idiots. They're freaking idiots.
I, I, I mean, look, things have gotten so bad with Gamecock baseball. We'll talk more about it here in a moment. Q, some information came out today about the upcoming renovations, some concept art. We'll share the screen and kind of look more into to see how that looks on a different level, man, and kind of talk about that more. I mean, the two ramps in the south end zone are going to go away, so that will be very interesting from this concept art that we're seeing. So we'll talk more about that. The softball team plays UCLA tomorrow or today on Friday. If you're listening to the Welcome Home Podcast at the Welcome H Pod on Apple and Spotify, on the Believe Network on Friday. So it's going to be an interesting series for our ladies over there on that softball team. And then Q, this team's getting ready, man. The Gamecock defense, we're going to talk a little more about that and what that could potentially look like for this upcoming season. And also a new top 100 for South Carolina players for 2027. Let's talk about that a little bit more. That's going to get fans excited because, Q, we've already said it once. We'll say it again. 2027 is going to be a big class for the state of South Carolina and a huge opportunity for Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks.
No, for sure. It's gonna be a good class. It's gonna be a really good
Yeah,
class.
it's going to be fantastic. But let's go ahead. We'll start with softball, Q. First of all, congratulations to the Gamecock softball team for one, not only making Super Regionals for the third time in history, but two, for selling it out. Tickets are sold out at Beckham Field. You will not be able to see this game unless you are watching it on TV if you don't already have a ticket to the show. So congratulations to the Gamecock softball team and Ashley and all of them for putting this together and selling it out. Just tremendous stuff, man. It's a big matchup. It's a big matchup on Friday and Saturday, obviously. But Q, we've already talked about it. This is a team that could do it. This is a team that could handle business and take down UCLA.
Yeah, I do agree with that. UCLA's got some good bats, good pitching, and I think us hosting the regionals helped. So they will be used to a big crowd being there and the jitters. And so now you have a 3-game series. Best, 2 out of 3 goes to it's Oklahoma City, right?
Mm, I believe that's correct.
So then they'll just go to Oklahoma City. I think these girls are ready. It's going to be a testament to Ashley's, buy-in of the program. I love saying that word buy-in because the
Mm-hmm.
only way anything's going to work is if you buy into the program. you can tell when people buy
Yeah.
in, when people don't buy in. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. And so I'm excited to see them play tomorrow. I think it's about 1:00 p.m. That they're
Hmm.
playing. So I'm excited to see it be on ESPN2. I have a few wedding things I have to take care of. So while that's going on, I'm definitely gonna have it on my phone. But I do think this team is poised for a nice little run. I think we can get to Oklahoma City. I see something around we win Friday, they take it Saturday, and we win the rubber match Sunday for dramatic effect. I could see that happening. I could see a lot of
Yeah.
different scenarios. I could see us winning Friday and Saturday. I think that's very possible. I could see us winning or losing Friday and winning Saturday and Sunday. So there's a lot of scenarios here. But no matter what, you got to win one on Friday or Saturday and then take care of Sunday. So
Hmm.
that's kind of where I am with it. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, Ashley has done a phenomenal job. I think the girls are ready. This is a very talented team, very underrated team, and I think they are truly one of the best teams and deserve to fight for the Natty.
Yeah, and this team has home field advantage. I mean, they have a 7-1 record when they're hosting a regional in the New Carolina softball stadium that was built back in 2013, right?
Yeah,
At Beckham Field. So that's awesome. On the other hand, South Carolina historically have not been great against ranked opponents in the top 25. Since the 90s, right? They're 186 and 409, but I'm gonna tell you what, a lot of that from 186 came from this year's team, right? South Carolina beat a lot of good teams for one, not just on the road, but also in general. All right, they're
yeah,
15 and 12 against ranked opponents this year. You got a winning record against them. It's solid. That's a solid number. So it's a testament from what Ashley's built here in year one.
yeah.
And once again, she did it in year one.
That's facts. With her girls that she brought from Charlotte.
I was told it couldn't be. I was told it couldn't be done. Q.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was
told
told the
it couldn't
same.
be done.
I was told the same. And I know NIL ain't big and invested there either. So
Mm. Well, it's it's funny how things work out. It's funny how
mhm,
things work out because if they like you, they can play for you, and then they perform and develop under you. It's funny how
mhm.
those things happen, right? So obviously, like I said, we will see, what happens ultimately there. Q and I will discuss this on Monday. Hopefully, we're talking about Oklahoma City. We're talking about another berth back into, the College World Series. I just,
Mhm.
for the women's team, for the softball team, it'd just be fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
so we would love to talk about that Monday. Q, let's keep it on the diamond, and once again, we're moving it to the other side of the diamond, and when I say things couldn't get worse, I don't know if that is particularly true with Gamecock baseball, as things are only getting worse for Gamecock baseball. And obviously, this is going to be a max exodus from for the transfer portals that we're all expecting at this point. Media alike, everybody's pretty much expecting for this to happen.
Mhm.
Ryan Bakes is the first one to hit the portal. Obviously, Roman Kimball announced that he's going to, just hasn't done it yet. So two guys right off the rip right there, and plenty more coming. This has just been it's been disappointing. It's been disappointing. And look, this all starts at the top. I've seen Jeremiah Donati receiving a lot of grief about what has happened with this season and why a move has not been made yet. But a move can only be done so far from coming from the top. Donati can only have so much power, right? And so why are we attacking Donati like that, right? These same things happen with Mark Kingston and Ray Tanner. Ray wanted to move on from Mark earlier than when he did, and he wasn't able to. So, at what point are we going to figure out why? What point are we going to figure out why do we keep attacking the AD when somebody's overstayed their welcome and they're not able to leave quicker than they're supposed to, or than the fans want to? Because the people up at the top, they don't care about your feelings. And I truly don't believe they care about Gamecock athletics, some of them. I really don't. I really don't. They obviously care more about what's in their pockets than they care about the fans or anything else. They don't care about the trajectory of the program. It's obvious. And the fact of the matter, these players are rumored to want to have sit-downs with the AD about how things went. That's a problem. If the red flags are being waved right now, I don't know what to tell you. But things are bad. So bad that you have guys like John Whittle that has been covering Gamecock baseball since Gamecock athletics in general, since I can remember. He's been doing it forever. He put an article out today talking about everything that went bad for South Carolina this season. And some of the things that are in this article, Q, are incriminating. Paul Mainieri should not be at South Carolina next season. He should not be there. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. One of the things that was talked about in this article, I'm not going to give everything up because some of this stuff was VIP information, but one of the things that John Whittle brought up was he said the players are handicapped due to a lack of weight training, coaching, and development. So he said it shouldn't be a big surprise that nearly all returning players took a step back, and some of them took a significant step back. We saw guys that performed last year that performed against good SEC talent. Why did they regress so bad? Are we not having that conversation? It's insane. It's just ridiculous, some of the stuff that is in this article. But it's true. It's true because we've had our conversation with players, with parents. All these things were happening. So it's hard, Q. It's at a bad point for this Gamecock baseball program, and it just gets worse by the day. It truly does, and I don't know what's going to happen next year. I really generally don't. I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. I think it's crazy that the door has been left open for a return after everything that has been said by not just the players, not just family, but media, and media that has never come out strong against a coach like this before. And you got to think that South Carolina's had some interesting coaches in the years past, right? Muschamp, things that went on in that program, right? Kingston wasn't the best, but it never got to this level. I'm at a loss, man. I'm truly at a loss.
I don't have a reason not to believe what Whittle has said. Once again, he's covered baseball for a very long time. He's covered Gamecock athletics for a very long time.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there's absolutely, and when I say absolutely, that means without a shadow of a doubt, with the information that has been presented, there should be no earthly reason why this man still has a job after that's been seen.
No.
Paul Mainieri, you're a disgusting individual. I'm going to let you know that now. You're the epitome of a disgusting individual. I don't care how many wins you have. After some of the things I've heard that you've done this year, I feel like your legacy is a joke. You are a terrible human being, a manipulator, narcissist.
Mm.
And there's no room for that in college athletics.
No.
You don't care about the kids. You don't care about this program. You don't care about any of these things. I'm going to repeat that again. Paul Mainieri, you do not care about this program. You do not care about the kids. You don't care about anything that deals with the University of South Carolina. And there will never be a day, a time, a place, an entity at any point, any time that you can sit there and justify what you have done this year.
No, here's something else, Q. One of the things that Whittle talked about, he said that scouting, quote unquote, he said scouting reports are important and coaches spend a lot of time learning their opponents. They put it on paper for in-game reference, and it's very commonplace for coaches to go over it with players or for players to look at it for themselves during games. He said in the midst of the game against UNC up in Charlotte, Coach Paul Mainieri ripped the scouting report out of Ethan Petrie's hands in the dugout and showed him in front of his teammates. Mainieri threw that scouting report which was Monty Lee's used as a reference into the trash can.
I mean,
it's also should be noticed that they trash trackmen. They continued all throughout the season to not even use trackmen at all. And obviously, for those who don't know what trackman is, it's a useful tool when it comes to tracking progress from injured players during rehab work. And more than not, it was not used.
At the end of the day, it's not. I'm not even. Like I said, I know I'm not even using Whittle's thing as a reference at this point. Like what Whittle said is gold. But at this point, I'm beyond the talks about it, all that. The things that have happened in this locker room and the things that have happened on this field this year, at the end of the day, should have gotten this man fired. I don't care the buyout. Honestly, you could argue not paying the man after some of the things that have come out. You could genuinely argue it. And I'm done with it. You don't bring that kind of crap back for the next year. You don't put yourself in a worse position because of that next year. No one has respect for what Paul did, and it's a joke to the game itself with how this man has done things.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I don't care about records or none of that stuff. I care about the kids. And there are people who lost their last season dealing with this clown.
Mm-hmm.
He does not need to ruin anyone else's career, anyone else's seasons, anyone else's anything. If we have a turnover where we have to replace 95% of our roster, that's a cultural issue. And you're not going to have people show up for the games anyways. So now you have two big problems. You're trying to save $1, but you're losing 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking through the process of the situation. And this is above Donati. This is to the board. The board's going to have to figure this out. The board's going to have to figure this out. No matter how we put this, the board's got to figure this out. So that's where I stand with it. That's how I look at it. And hopefully we get it done. We get it done. But I'm no longer wasting time on a dude that's about 80 years old. I don't got time for him. What Paul did this year was terrible, criminal, and I'm done with it. He does not need to be back. Everyone knows he doesn't need to be back. And the things that have happened, like Paul, in actual reality, in that real world, bro, you would have been in some serious trouble for this. For what you've done and how you treat people. I'm telling you, as a person who has worked situations where this has gone on, I promise you, in the real world, you would have been in some serious trouble. Legally, on your job, all that. You need to be gone. Be a man and step down. Be a grown man and step down. Your legacy's already tarnished. Because I don't care what nobody says. You're a joke of a coach. You're even worse of a human being. And you don't deserve any support in what you do. None of it. You're lucky I ain't AD. I would have fired you. I promise you I would have fired you a long time ago.
It's just,
So it is what it is with him. That's my spiel on him. I'm not giving Paul any more energy. I'm letting y'all as a fan group know. Q ain't giving no more energy to that fool. Because at the end of the day, I have spoken out. I have let the people that be, the powers that be, know how I feel, know how a lot of people feel. It is on the people that make decisions now. But I'm not giving Paul any more energy, bro. He's not getting a dime of nothing. Nothing of mine is going towards Paul. I've already made that abundantly clear. If I find out a dime of mine goes towards Paul, I'm pulling everything. If I find out a dime, a nickel, a penny of my hard-earned money goes towards him, I promise you, it's over. I'm pulling the plug.
That's fair. And I'm telling you, if some he's brought back next season, I'll be there for a game to see what it looks like, and I'll probably still make my rounds in there. That's not going to stop, unfortunately. My love for the university goes further, but I I'm not going to be surprised if that the stands look like against I don't know playing Winthrop or somebody during the SEC series, and it's nothing but away fans that have taken over. I mean, it shows me truly where the board of trustees is. I mean, forget about everything else. It's just it sucks when you have people at the top and they seemingly don't care. Is what it seems like. And if they do, please, the invitation is open for you to come. Join the Welcome Up podcast on the show. Any board of trustees members, except for minus Alex English. Obviously, we know where Alex English stands, but he's going to be outnumbered anytime, any day of the week. We all know how that hire went. So, anybody else? You want to join the show and you want to prove me wrong that you truly care about the University of South Carolina and its athletics? Hey, door's open. Or any show. I would love to hear I would love to hear anybody for the board of trustees, join the show and talk about it. Like I said, mine is Alex English, but we'll go ahead. We'll keep the conversation about the board of trustees, and this one is about the stadium project for Williams-Brice Stadium, and they have officially moved forward. They are moving forward with the I think it's the $350 million project for Williams-Brice Stadium. And Q, go ahead and I'm going to show my screen here in a second as we're about to look at some renderings. Just give me a moment as I'm looking through here. But it's interesting. It's very, very interesting what this thing's going to look like as I pull this up here. So here we go. All right, so we are looking at this live, right? Future Williams-Brice Stadium. And IQ, as you can see right here, right? You see up top, you notice something that's missing right there off the bat, right there in the south end zone. You notice something missing right there.
Mm-hmm. The ramp's gone.
It's gone. It's absolutely it's gone. So let's take a look at that further, right? So notice how that ramp is gone. Obviously, we'll look at further here. I tell you, there's a lot of memories there, Q. Right? There's a lot of memories that have been had on those ramps. I believe I was on the other side of the south end zone where I watched Steven Garcia get tackled by no, excuse me, that was on the other side of the stadium. But I watched Garcia get tackled by the ref.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a time that was! What a time that was! But let's talk about this, right? We're going to talk about this. So here's the information on it. Well, people want to know why renovate now. Well, USC partnered with Elevate in 2024 to conduct a widely distributed market survey and resulting analysts. The results of this analysis are listed below and showed why a renovation was needed to enhance the fan experiences offered at Williams-Brice Stadium. So as you can see here, survey results, 94% believed a stadium upgrade was important. Out of the 93%, 10 one or more games a year, 86% were avid fans, 73% were promoter of game day experience, and 68% were Gamecock members with 10-plus year tenures. So, quite a big number of fans right there, right? So, talk about a little bit more right here. It talks about the percentages, about where the SEC aligns, where South Carolina is. Obviously, South Carolina premium, well, they're at the bottom. They're ranked last in the premium areas, right? That's going to change. That is going to change. Also, South Carolina ranks last in suites among SEC peers. I didn't think that was true. I knew they would probably be toward the bottom, but I didn't think they'd be last, considering the different schools out there, right? So, there you go. South Carolina ranks last in suite count. All right. So now we look at this thing a little bit more. And the thing about this, the concepts here, the project is done by Populous. Populous are the same ones that created the Sphere in Las Vegas. You know that giant sphere that they got there now? They show the movies and the concerts and things of that nature. I hear it's an out-of-body experience. I would love to try it, check it out. But this is what you're looking at. And this is the future of Gamecock football at Williams-Brice Stadium. The ramp is gone, but notice you have right here, right up top, you got your new video board, right? You got another video board right there in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And you got different seat selections here, right? You got more of those standout areas up top.
It'll be elevator, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Escalators. I
I
believe
mean,
that's what they're
escalators. Yeah.
doing. Escalators, yes. There's some different floor plans here. I'm not going to go into that too much with you. I mean, I don't think anybody watching is architecture enthusiasts. If you are, I do apologize. But you can go on the website, Gamecocks Online, look at the projects yourself. Let's look at a couple things here. Obviously, you got the Founder Suite. It's a solid look. You know, it's kind of got that that vibe that some of the suites have out there in Founders Park.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice. And then you got other suites that they're going to put out together. A 50-yard suite design right there. I mean, multiple nice designs that they're putting together. So South Carolina is going to move up in the premium area when it comes to seating. So that's fun, right? That's a lot of fun. A potential future phase of this project. While the current stadium project focuses on west, north, and east sides of Williams-Brice Stadium, we are actively looking at future phases that will include other areas of the stadium. Our architectural firm, Populous, is working on a master plan that includes design concepts for the following areas: the north end zone suites, the north end zone premium seating, east side suites, the east side premium suites seating, south side study, and other operational improvements. So, a lot of great things, Q, that are going to be happening with this stadium soon. It's going to be a different outlook, man. There are some other things, too, that South Carolina is bringing to the game, to the stadium. What are your thoughts about this, Q, when you see this, this concept and how the stadium is going to change? You're going to lose 2 ramps. What are your thoughts about this and the premium seating that is on the way to Whaley B here soon?
As long as we don't go under like 73, 74K, I think we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that, with what we're doing. I think it's going to modernize it. I know bathrooms are something that they're talking about as well. There's also discussions, I want to say, dealing in better flow for concession stands and all those different things as well.
Right.
I know while that's dope, and I'm excited for that, I am intrigued and interested to see how they build up around the stadium, because I think that's going to be the biggest key, is how they start building up around the stadium, what that looks like, what game days will start looking like in those situations. And I think that's, in my opinion, the bigger thing. I think that's the dopest part of it. And so
Yeah.
I want to see what that looks like as well. I think it's great we're finally doing this. I think it's going to bring us to where we need to be. Um, Having more people in the stadium doesn't necessarily mean better for game day experiences, and so you have to kind of take those into account. I understand everybody
Sure.
wants 80,000 and X, Y, and Z and A, B, C, which I agree with. I love 80,000 fans. I love more when we
Mm-hmm.
have more than that in there. The ramp does take away a little bit of that. I get it. It's whatever. What I will say is game day experience becoming better and better is what you need. And so I
Yeah.
think eventually we'll get to the point where they may expand out on Williams-Brice Stadium, and you get a couple more things in there. So we'll see. But I think it's a great start, and I think it's going to be great. I do think it's going to modernize things. It's going to be great.
Yeah, overall, I mean, that's the word, modernized. That's a big word there, because South Carolina is pretty behind when it comes to that, right? There are
Mhm.
some premium places in Williams-Brice Stadium, but really nothing to write home about when you see these different suites out there, man. Like I tell you, I follow a guy named G Fed that basically he does these tours to the stadiums around the country.
Mhm.
Most are unauthorized tours, of course, but he goes in and he shows the different suites around the country. South Carolina is way, way behind a lot of these stadiums, man. A lot of these programs aren't even top Power 4 teams, honestly. So it's good to see South Carolina moving in this direction. Do I think it will mess with the crowd a little bit? Yes. I do think it's unfortunate that you do lose those ramps. Of course, it is always been a huge part, like I said, for part of that experience. I mean, a lot of fans, they don't sit in those seats, man. Like fans will buy seats down at the bottom or up top, and they'll just stay on the ramp all day because they prefer watching it from the ramp. It's their
Correct.
tradition. They've been doing it since they were born, right? So
Correct.
I get it. I understand why fans are upset. Hey, I get it. I absolutely do. I mean, it's sentimental for 100%. It's
Mhm.
sentimental, but hey, I'll just tell you, if you feel that way, just other side of the stadium, it's open. Those ramps aren't going anywhere as of now, so keep that in mind. Q, I'm going to keep it to the subject, man. Jordan K from the State or Posted Courier, whatever it's called, the State now. Yes, did a really nice article here about this. He talks about those video boards, but he also talks about the students. The South Carolina students are going to get air conditioned space behind the student section.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
That'll be smart for them hot game days. Yeah, that'll be smart.
So, way it sounds right now, they said the state reported back in February the Gamecocks were looking to add 10,000 square feet of indoor space in the north end zone, which might include using the Floyd building for students. But Thursday's approvals brought that idea closer to reality. So the students are going to have like a club-like area, air conditioned. Because look, man, South Carolina gets hot. It just truly does, man. Like the students, they're in there in that sun. They're right there looking at the sun. They needed it. They needed it. And then of course Dick's Sporting Goods puts an ad for A'ja Wilson shoes that we all missed out on. So just they love rubbing it in some more A'ja Wilson's ads. Good Lord. All right. So to help create space for the video boards, they talk about replacing those towers, man, losing those ramps. So like I said, I feel good about it though, man. They're looking to construct. The goal is to construct 36 suites on the west side, 30 traditional suites and 6 founder suites around the stadium. But that has now changed apparently. Phase 2 is 33 traditional suites and 10 founders suites. So there's a total of 43 suites there, right? So on the west side. So that's good stuff. I'm excited. That's a hefty budget though, Q. For $300 million for this project.
Yeah, they'll get it. They'll get it done though.
Yeah, but you couldn't tell me you couldn't save $6 million for other reasons, right? Oh my gosh! I tell you, it is bad. It is bad. But it is cool that with Populous being the ones that are handling this job, because like I said, is the ones that created the Spirit in Las Vegas, and they've also created, I think, SoFi, if I'm not mistaken, out there in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. I think Las Vegas too. For the Raiders, they've made a bunch of different stadiums. They put a different stadiums together, man. So that's really, really exciting. So big stuff happening in Columbia, South Carolina. The future is going to be good, man, for Gamecock football. And this right here solidifies it. And we haven't even gotten discussions about what's coming around the stadium soon, right? All those different plans that they've got, right near the ops building.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Is the plan? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm curious about. What the game day experience is going to be like once we get those things started, and what that helps, because I think that will help along with NIL and all those things. I think all these things will help.
I just wish the university bought the fairgrounds, man. I really did. I just wish they would have bought them, because there was so much potential right there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just think with what you have around the stadium, you have the wherewithal to get some things done. Question is, what do you do? Like, what are you going to do with that space?
Sure.
Because I think that's going to be, in my personal opinion, a big factor.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We'll see.
I agree. I definitely agree. I'm excited, though, man. I'm super, super excited. So, Q, for the football, field and the renovations, let's take it to the defense, man. We talked about the offense 2 episodes ago, and we're going to talk about the defense, man. With South Carolina's defense, what to really expect of what we could see there, man. Right, what we could see from this defense. Q, we'll start on the defensive line. Obviously, right. Dylan Stewart, Brian Thomas Jr. locking it down, right? Des Yu, JT Gear, guys like that. What are your thoughts about that defensive line, the defensive ends on who's going to lock that down? And could we see a name pop up that may not be starting right now in that conversation, a freshman or transfer coming in?
At D end, of course, Dylan Stewart on one side. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Des Yu is able to do if he can continue to build off of a summer. Does Jaylen Brown get healthy after getting injured during the spring? What does it like for Brian Thomas? Is he an every down back? Is he every down in? Is he a pass rush specialist only? What does the depth look like? How do we spill off Dylan to make it not as much of a drop off? Like, those different things need to all be taken into account, taken into place. So that's what I'm looking at for that. At D tackle, I'm looking at pairs. I'm thinking if you're able to pair guys off, Markel Goodwine with Dindy, Nick Barrett and Xavier Hardy, um, Ingram and Pride. Like, what are guys? Caleb Williams, is he healthy? Is he ready to go? What
Mm.
are guys able to do? Because if we get a 3 rotation of that 6 to 7 ready to roll in, I'm feeling a lot better with D tackle. Um, that's big. So defensive line is not as a drop off as people want to say it is. I really genuinely think defensive line can do their part this year, do their portion. With Dylan Stewart being able to do a better job against the run next year is going to be huge as well. And that's where Dez and Jalen Brown and all those guys come up and help on the other side of that. You got to be able to do these different things. So that's where my head is with it. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you brought a couple of guys in from the portal. I mean, obviously Troy Pikes most recently, right?
Hmm.
Of course, the kid from who's the Bowling Green. I mean, he's been solid. So I like that, and I can see that. I think there's more speed on this defense. Not obviously Dylan Stewart, Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, good lord, JT Gear seems like he's taken a huge step forward with his speed. I mean, my goodness.
Hmm.
So we'll see what that looks like. Taking us to the linebackers now. You know, Fred Johnson, Jerron Willis, Sean Murphy, Justin O. Man, those are the guys that really set that up well. Q, what are your thoughts there? And do you see any newcomers moving up on that side of things?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think those 4 guys are your main guys. What do you do with those 4 guys? What do those 4 guys have, ready for you? What does that look like? So I like those 4. Darden is another name that has been big. Um, I'm a big fan of Darden. Anyone knows me knows I am. AJ
Yeah,
Holloway is another guy that I am very
AJ.
big on. AJ
Yep.
is the prototypical size and speed of a linebacker. Just
Mm-hmm.
needs the experience. He's a freshman, so I'm excited for him. I Josh Smith is another one.
803.
An 803 Dutch Fork product that played a lot of edge before he transitioned, but I like what I see out of him. So I think that's a deep room. It lacks in experience. Dear God, it makes up in talent. Dear
Sure.
God, it makes
Yeah.
up in
Yeah.
talent. So experience is just going to be the biggest teacher in the entire thing, in my personal opinion. That's your teacher. That's where you're at with it. And so I'm excited to see that portion of it.
Yeah, I will say this: South Carolina is very blessed to have a guy like Demetrius Knight last season, right? Tebow Williams, Spam Martin Scott, having all 3 of those guys. But I think that leadership is going to transition to these newer kids. I mean, when I talked to Demetrius, Mobile, I mean, the constant conversations we were having is about that linebacker group,
Hmm.
right? He's like, look, I was like, off the record, you and I speaking here, like, none of this has to be, talked about again. But is this linebacker room ready? Without a doubt. He said those guys have a lot of talent, they have a lot of passion, and they're ready to go. Having a guy like Demetrius Knight, right? His leadership and everything else that he had to show and to offer to these guys, it
Hmm.
goes a longer way than we think, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
We're blessed.
And the way he left the room was perfect.
Yes.
And the guys they got to be ready to step up. And I believe that's where we're at right now. Is you're looking at guys of, yeah, I'm ready to step up. And when you have guys ready to step up, that's when, in my opinion, you start seeing the development and growth of this team. So linebacker is going to be a good spot.
Yeah, I firmly agree there. Q, before we get to the secondary, let's just give our sponsors a few moments here to get what they need to say in, and we'll be right back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so Q, let's go ahead and take it to the secondary. Obviously, we'll start right there in the safety room. Nick Rory went to the Seahawks, right? Went to the Seahawks. Odie Fortune went into the UDFA. He found a team. He found a spot. Q, how's that safety room going to look, my guy?
Pretty good. I think this is the year you see Peyton Williams take that next step. David Boosie's had a really good freshman year on special teams. I think he takes the next step. Gerald Kilgore is another one that you see in that safety room take the next step. Kelvin Hunter, huge huge acquisition in that recruiting class that people don't really hear about. Underrated guy, and I'm intrigued to see what he's able to do. But a real sleeper is Kendall Daniels. A lot of people don't know about Kendall Daniels. Kendall Daniels is from Virginia. Very, 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 very quiet recruiting battle that we had to deal with. There was Clemson at one point. There was a few things going on then, and so um, I'm intrigued with that. But that safety room's nice, man. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree, Q. I'm right there with you. I think the safety room is great, and really, really, really solid group there. Really solid group. I'll say this, man. Like, I mean, some of these guys, I mean, they may be under the radar a little bit, man. I mean, you look at guys like David Busey, right?
Hmm.
Same kind of. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that Cooper DeJean kind of feel to it, man. Same height, same weight class. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. So, anyways, David Busey is a baller, and we hear about him a lot. So I think we'll see more from him this season. Peyton Williams really came on in a lot of different times. I mean, the Tennessee game, right in 22,
Hmm.
he was big there, man. He was a big reason why South Carolina performed in that game. Because if I'm not mistaken, we lost. Was it Emin Wari in that one? We lost one of the guys pretty early in
Yeah,
that
Eamon
game.
Warrior got was it did he ejected?
I can't remember. It was
Yeah, it was.
2022.
I think
Yeah, I
it
think.
was it was an ejection for Eamon Warrior
Yeah,
in that game. I'm almost
yeah,
positive that was an ejection. So
yeah.
that was rough, but yeah, I was yeah. Peyton has always had the talent. He just needed the time. He did really well in the ball
Mm,
game too. A lot of people don't realize he was in there. He's a quiet, hard worker. So
mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued by to see what he's able to do and how he's going to fit into the system and the situation. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, the Kilgore brothers, right? I mean, just a solid group of guys. I mean, Jalen Kilgore is moving up in this draft stock. I mean,
Mhm.
he's looking first round. A lot of people have him right now. Taking it to the cornerbacks, right? Brandon Cisse transfer from NC State, a crowd favorite already, man. Met him at the movie night down at Williams Brice Stadium for Junior Gamecock Club. Super nice guy, man. Super nice guy. Vakari Swain, obviously, Judge Collier, the judge, man, all rise for the judge. He's been fantastic.
Mhm.
And of course, the other transfer, Miles Norwood from, I believe it was Ball State.
Yes.
Guys like that coming in cute. Got a couple transfers there. I think it's the most interesting room, though, on that defensive side of the ball. What are your thoughts about these cornerbacks?
Depth.
Mm,
Depth. I mean, there's a lot of competition there. When you're thinking about it, that's a ton of competition that's there. Uh, Now you have Akari Swain back in the summer, so he's gonna get back to being fluid in what he needs to do. Highly talented, very, very talented guy. You have Joe Judge, who's had a lot of snaps between his freshman and sophomore year, going into his junior year now. Um, who's going to play a vital role in this? Miles Norwood had a really good spring. Brian Cisse, who I still feel like is the prototypical nickel, so I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with that. Because if they do, moving Jalen Kilgore to safety will be absolutely elite. That's a
yeah,
lot of speed that's going to be at safety. So
right.
I'm intrigued to see if they're able to do that. Jalewis Solomon, a lot of people don't remember that he was highly recruited out of high school, and he's now going to be out in the picture to pull down a lot more snaps as well. So the room is deep, and the buy-in is there. You you need that because I think depth is going to play a huge role this year. We play a lot of pass-heavy teams when you have uh, LSU is going to be a problem with that. I think Ole Miss is going to be another issue with that. I think that Alabama passes the ball a little more this year as well, which will be something that we have to look into when it comes to playing our defense.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson is going to try and throw the ball around the field a lot this year as well. So that's four teams right there that I feel like off the rip you're going to have to really, really worry about when it comes to the passing game. Oklahoma's another outlier. I don't believe too much in their receiving room, but I do think that quarterback really wants to throw the ball, in that in that sector in that way. So I mean, that makes it intriguing as well. So there's a lot there. I'm very intrigued to see what we do there. But when you look at the defense as a whole, there's talent.
Yeah,
There spots where we have questions about experience, absolutely,
sure.
but there's talent. So if the talent lives up to the talent, you're going to get experience regardless of the situation. Pair that with an offense that brings back a lot, that also brings back experience, especially at the quarterback position that we didn't have last year. We're setting ourselves up for a very successful season, barring, injury. We're setting ourselves up for a successful season. And the tools are there. The tools are there. And I know sometime soon we'll go over special teams because I feel like that also plays a vital role in our success next year. But when I am thinking genuinely, in my personal opinion, about where this defense is, we're in a lot better spot than people are giving us credit for. And I think it will show, especially come game one. Game one's going to be a telltale, in my opinion, for us, for all of us. Telltale. So I'm excited about game one, seeing what game one's going to bring us.
Yeah, I do agree, man. I think game one's going to show you a lot. Pretty quick out there in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that's
Right.
gonna be a fun one. Definitely gonna be a fun one. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the defense as a whole, the talent is there. Obviously, it's just is the leadership
Mm-hmm.
is it there, right? Is the obviously none of these guys. I mean, you just have a couple that have been with the program for 3 or 4 years, but other than that, I mean, it's tough. You don't have too much of that leadership that you saw last year, but from seeing it last year and from things that, talking to different players and, like I said, hearing what Demetrius Knight had to say, and of course, Kyle Kennard and those guys, I feel like that leadership is going to pass on and it's going to move on to the next class. And then from there, it's going to move on from there. I think the reason that South Carolina is doing so well with that is just this culture, man.
Yeah.
It's just this culture. If we didn't have this kind of culture in place, this team could be in a world of hurt coming into this upcoming season. They really could. Right? So
I agree.
The culture, it's that word again, but it's evident.
It's there.
It's true. If it wasn't there, we wouldn't bring it up.
I promise you.
I promise you. Yeah, no.
It's there.
It wasn't around during Muschamp. That much could be said.
Yeah, that for a couple people.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is an absolute fact. Q, take it to the basketball court real quick, man. There's a little bit of news there on a Gamecock that tested the NBA waters. It is going to come to play for Lamont Paris in Gamecock basketball. Q, who is that player?
Oh, you have Kobe Knox has taken himself out the draft process, and now he's focused solely on coming to Gamecock Nation and playing ball for Lamont. I think he's going to shore up that 3 spot in that starting lineup with Michi at the 1. And well, actually, he'll show up the 2 spot, and the 3 spot probably is Stu right now. So we'll see how everything plays out and how that goes. But I do think that's an important situation to monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think that was big. He got the test. He knows what he needs to work on, and now he has a summer to work on it. But he's bringing a lot of talent, a lot of leadership, good defense, a 3-and-D guy, good defense. So I think it's going to be huge for us, and I think Lamont's got a good, solid team coming together right now. Good, solid team.
Yeah, I mean, Knox was a very efficient guard, man. Very, very explosive, at the rim. You think about him is even though he's going from South Florida to the SEC, I don't think there's going to be any hesitation from his play style. I think he's going to be able to do what he needs to do. And obviously, he's got decent size. He's not the size of a Jamari, right? So you take your wins where you can. And it's not like also South Florida played against a bunch of bums, man. They played against teams like Memphis and teams like that. So I'm going to be, I'm going to remain optimistic on that. I think that he's going to be solid. And like you said, what you just said, Q, working on the things that you needed to really see at the, NBA combine and being able to see what you're not doing right and things to work on. So I love it. I mean, it's a guy averaged 10+ points a game last season for South Florida and the Bulls, so it's a good gift for Lamont. It really is. It really is. So
I agree.
yeah, so I'm super stoked about that. Them, into the future. Q, we've gone around 40 minutes at this point, a little over that. Do you have anything else before we wrap up the show, my guy?
No, I think it's good, and I think we're in a good spot. I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out because starting next week we're going to start getting into that OV season, and so let's see how everything starts playing out.
OV season and 100 days start today. If you're listening on Friday till Gamecock kickoff, 100 days. And if you tune into the account, you'll be seeing Xavier Legette running it back against Texas A&M. That was a fun one. That was a fun one. So I can't wait for this countdown to start. Like I said, tomorrow, if you're listening now, but listening live at to the show, starts tomorrow. If you're listening at the Welcome Age Pod on Apple and Spotify on Friday, well, it starts today. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, at the Welcome Age Pod on Apple and Spotify. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the live show on Facebook, X, YouTube. As usual, you can follow the show at the Welcome Age Pod on Apple and Spotify. You can review the show that is officially the South Carolina voice on the Believe Network. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We will see you next time.
Peace.